This question wants us to use a reference angle to write sine of 230 degrees in terms of the sine of a positive acute angle. So let's draw out our situation. So we got 0, 80, 270, way back around 60. Okay, and then we have 230 degrees, which is going to be in quadrant 3. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to figure out what the reference angle is for this angle in quadrant. And that reference angle we get from doing theta minus 180 degrees is equal to theta prime, which is our reference angle. So here we have 230 degrees minus 180 degrees, which is 50 degrees. So our reference angle for this angle in quadrant 1 is 50 degrees. And what this means is both of these angles share the same 50-degree interior angle. Now that we've found our reference angle, let's talk about what this question's actually wanting. It's wanting us to be able to describe this angle here in another way. And let me show you what I mean by that. There's a few ways we can describe the angle sine of 50 degrees. So I could describe sine of 50 degrees like this as sine of 50 degrees, or I could describe 50 degrees, this very same angle, as the negative sine of 230 degrees. And you might be asking, well, how is that the same angle? Or two ways of describing the same angle. Okay, well, this kind of gets into polar coordinates, which is something we haven't got into, but it makes sense here. So your angle theta tells us what direction to point. And then the sign in front of this trig function being positive or negative, which in this case it's positive, tells us whether we walk frontwards or backwards. So in this case, it's positive, so we walk frontwards. Okay, well, if we come over here and look at this one, and here's our angle down here at 230 degrees. Okay, well, in this case, we turn to theta. Theta tells us which direction to look, so we're looking at 230 degrees. But since it's negative, instead of walking in the direction of 230 degrees, we walk backwards. So, in other words, what this is saying is if I look one direction and walk in that direction, that is equivalent to facing 180 degrees in the opposite direction, but instead of walking forward, now I'm walking backwards. Both of those paths will take you to the same spot. So this question is asking us to do the exact same thing. So there's another way we could write this angle and get the exact same thing. So sine of 230 degrees would be this angle here, where we use theta to tell us to look at 230 degrees. And then since theta is positive, we walk in that direction. The other way we could describe the same angle is negative sine 50 degrees. Negative sine of 50 degrees would take us to the exact same spot. So again, if we use theta to tell us where to look, it's telling us to look in this direction at 50 degrees. But since it's negative, instead of walking that direction, we actually walk backwards, which takes us to the same spot to 230 degrees. So this right here is the answer it's looking for. It was looking for another way to describe this same spot given an angle that's in the first quadrant.